The 777 succeeded Boeing's first wide-body twin jet, the 767, and showed the world just how great the platform could be for both the economics of the notoriously volatile flying business and the satisfaction of flyers. The success of the 777 series directly contributed to the end of its larger quad-jet predecessor, the 747. So in this video, we take a look at how the Boeing 777-300ER became the flagship of many of the world's leading airlines, why its GE90 engines changed long-haul aviation forever, and how it paved the way for the next generation of wide-body aircraft. While the A380 and 747 were larger, they suffered from being too big. An airline must fill a massive percentage of an A380's roughly 500-plus seats just to break even. The 777-300ER is much easier to fill consistently, protecting airlines from devastating financial losses during economic downturns. The 777-300ER features massive cargo holds beneath the passenger deck, even more than a 747. On many routes, the underfloor freight revenue alone pays for the entire flight's fuel burn, making the passengers pure profit. Another important factor was the gradual shift of air route networks from a hub-and-spoke to point-and-point organization. To break even on a point-to-point route like Chicago to Brussels, the 747-8i requires an immense number of passengers. If the flight is only 70% full, the airline loses massive amounts of money. The 777-300ER can break even with far fewer passengers, making secondary city pairings consistently profitable. Airlines don't always fly 100% full. Ultimately, Boeing sold only 48 passenger versions of the 747-8 Intercontinental. Meanwhile, the 777-300ER became the backbone of long-haul aviation, with over 800 units delivered, cementing the total victory of point-to-point travel. When the first 777-200 rolled out of the factory, airlines were immediately eager for its combination of payload, range, and efficiency. Here was an aircraft that could carry over 300 passengers across oceans with just 2 engines instead of the 4 that was standard of such large jets. It was streamlined, modern, and most importantly for the accountants, economical to operate. The introduction of the 777-300ER in 2002 maximized the quality of the 777 airframe. Boeing expanded the fuselage to carry nearly 400 passengers in standard configuration, with fuel consumption only slightly increased compared to the smaller models. Airlines improved income thanks to a variety of cabin arrangements and cargo options made possible by the aircraft's supersized twin-jet design. Boeing designed the 777 from the ground up for extreme reliability, including triple redundant systems for hydraulics and electronics. During certification for the -300ER, a GE90-115B was famously tested by being shut down mid-flight for 330 minutes during a 13-hour journey from Seattle to Taiwan to prove it could handle the stress. In 2011, the FAA granted ETOPS 330 approval for the 777 fleet, effectively opening up 99.7% of the Earth's surface to twin-engine flight. The GE90-115B was so powerful that a twin-engine 777-300ER could carry almost as many passengers as a Boeing 747-400, but with 2 fewer engines to maintain and half the fuel burn. Dropping from 4 engines to 2 literally halved the engine maintenance budget for long-haul routes. Even accounting for payload proportions, the 777-300ER burns roughly 20 to 25% less fuel per seat than a quad-jet like the Airbus A340-600. The 777 proved that a twin-engine jet could be just as safe as a 4-engine jet while burning significantly less fuel. The 777 and GE90 combo directly spurred the retirement of older quad-jet airliners like the Boeing 747 and Airbus A340 on most long-haul routes. Boeing designed all 777 variants to be ETOPS ready, and today the global fleet flies twice as many ETOPS flights as competing models combined. The GE90 family maintains a 99.97 to 99.98% dispatch reliability rate with an in-flight shutdown rate of only 1 per million engine flight hours. Before the 777, twin-engine aircraft typically had to fly for 2 years to prove their reliability before being allowed to fly 180 minutes from an airport. The 777-300 was the first aircraft in history to receive FAA ETOPS 180 certification at entry into service, or EIS, in 1995. In 1999, Boeing and GE Aerospace made a landmark deal that they would exclusively see the Boeing 777-300ER and 777-200ER powered by variants of the GE90 engine. GE essentially bought exclusivity by agreeing to bear a significant portion of the development and risk costs for the -300ER program. In exchange, Boeing agreed not to certify any other engines for the variant, ensuring GE would capture 100% of the engine sales for that model. Thus, the GE90-115B became the standard for Boeing's highest performance 777s. The GE90-115B is a beast of engineering that redefined what a twin-engine aircraft could do. Its extreme performance isn't just a marketing buzzword, it's backed by some truly staggering numbers. Officially rated at 115,300 pounds of thrust for routine use, the GE90-115B even set a Guinness World Record by reaching 127,900 pounds during a special 2002 test. The Boeing 777X is a long-anticipated successor to the iconic Boeing 777 family. Boeing estimates that the 777X will achieve a 10 to 13% improvement in block-hour fuel burn compared to the 777-300ER. Owing to its greater seat capacity, the per-seat fuel efficiency gain is even more significant at 15 to 20%. The GE9X has 10% greater fuel efficiency compared with the GE90. The overall pressure ratio is 61 to 1, which allows for a 5% lower thrust-specific fuel consumption. The GE9X is also the most powerful commercial aircraft engine ever built, maxing out at a world record 134,000 pounds or 597.4 kilonewtons of thrust. GE Aerospace said it took data from its previous engines to produce its revolutionary new engine. The GE9X represents a multi-generational technology development chain supported by millions of hours of field experience. We have pulled learnings from other engines, including the GE90 and GEnx, to enable a more efficient, more reliable, quieter engine with lower emissions. The increased wingspan of the 777X complements this engine with a very high aspect ratio, 10 to 1 compared to 9 to 1 for the 777-300ER. That increases lift and reduces induced drag. The 777X will have wings that are 23 feet or 7 meters wider than the 777-300ER. That is a total wingspan of 235.5 feet or 71.75 meters compared to 212.6 feet or 64.8 meters. By folding the last 11 feet or 3.4 meters of each wing upward, the 777X reduces its span to 64.8 meters on the ground, or the exact same width as the 777-300ER. With the tips folded upward on the ground, it fits within standard ICAO Code E gates at airports worldwide. The new wing, with its industry-first folding tips, means carriers can gain major efficiency upgrades without having to pay for custom infrastructure or take penalties for schedule restrictions that limit the jumbo A380 or 747. The Boeing 777X not only features a dramatically improved cabin, fuel saving and performance improvements, but also a much better maintenance interval with reduced cost and less frequent needs. That combination of capacity, efficiency and compatibility is what makes the aircraft so appealing to airlines in a future with slot-restricted hubs and increased cost-cutting concerns. Emirates alone has anchored its entire future fleet strategy around the type, with an enormous backlog of over 170 Boeing 777X aircraft on order. The first airline to commit to the 777X was seeking to replace its departing fleet of 747 double-deckers. That was Lufthansa. Ordering 34 of the 777-9 extended variants, the German airline went for the maximum capacity model with its launch order. Due to the long-awaited arrival of the new twinjet, Lufthansa's fleet of 22 747s has gradually shrunk. After the 777X goes into service, the airline plans to retire its remaining aircraft. But as the jet stands alone in its size category, for now it remains one of the most eagerly anticipated aircraft ever made. Its certification is expected this year, with the first deliveries of the 777-300ER successor expected to finally arrive in early 2027. What do you think? Is the Boeing 777-300ER the greatest long-haul airliner ever built? Or do you think the upcoming Boeing 777X will eventually surpass its remarkable legacy? Let us know by leaving a comment, and don't forget to subscribe for more aviation content. See you next time. And be sure to check out Simpleflying's flight tracker. From live alerts and data on commercial, military and government flights, it goes way beyond your standard tracker. It was built specifically for avgeeks, free and live, right at your fingertips. In addition to our daily YouTube videos, Simpleflying publishes over 150 articles and a podcast every week. Visit simpleflying.com.